That very few people can tell you on how to handle this paper if you are a very weak candidate. My audience today is this colleague of mine who is having the weakest candidate. So even if you are very smart candidate, assume that they are weak so that we can see if that approach can even add something better. A weak candidate may not know that it is marked out of 60, so on Monday go and tell them that paper 1 is marked out of 60. Then tell them it has 3 questions. Question 1 is called functional writing, marked out of 20. Then closed test, marked out of 10. Then oral skills, marked out of 30. That is why we are counting 60. So colleagues, I want to tell you that even the weakest, I think even a class 7 can score 20 out of 30. Even a class 8 can score 5 out of 10. Even a class 8 can score 17 out of 20. So that you have 25 plus 17. Is it 42? I strongly believe that any candidate in Kenya can hit 42 over 60. Let me say 40 over 60. So today I want to tell you certain things you can do to your weakest. And let me assume you are class 7 to post 42 out of 60. I want to begin with question 3, oral skills, because it has a lot of marks. Tell this student the meaning of oral skills. Colleagues, there are 2 words, oral and skill. The moment you open your mouth to talk, to sing, or to tell a story, that process is oral. In paper 1, we believed that the word oral is basically talking, singing, and telling a story. So the moment you open your mouth to talk, to sing, or to tell a story, that one is oral. Then the second one is skill. A skill is a unique way of doing something. If you can do it better than another person, then you are skillful. That is why we say a skillful driver, a skillful teacher, a skillful singer. So it means oral skills would mean when you are talking, do you have a skill? When you are singing, do you have a skill? When you are telling a story, do you have a skill? We only test the skill you have by talking, singing, and telling a story. That is why if you analyze KCSE, the 17 of them, you will learn that under oral skills, there are only 5 ways in which the skills I'm talking about can be tested. No wonder you will always find 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, and 3E. So the skill you have when talking, singing, or telling a story can be tested in 5 different ways. So I want to share with you those 5 ways of testing oral skills. And the simplest approach you can share with your candidates on how to handle them. The first way of testing oral skill is etiquette. Etiquette. It means if you have manners, if you have etiquette in a conversation, if you can talk with etiquette, then you are skillful in talking. Then the second one is pronunciation. If you can say it correctly, you have skill. If you can't say it correctly, you don't have skill. My colleagues, etiquette will give your candidate up to 6 marks, pronunciation up to 9 marks in the exam. Then the third one, the third way of testing oral skills is what we call oral poem. or oral narrative. We are talking about oral poem, which is basically a lyrics as all. Do you have a skill when singing it? Oral narrative is a story. When telling a story, do you have a skill? This one will give your candidates up to 10 marks. Then, the fourth way of testing oral skills, we test the concepts. The mastery of concept. The concept that we teach them in Form 1 and 2. The mastery things like interview, negotiation, debate, group discussion. So we can summarize them as mastery. Mastery of concept, which will give your candidates up to 6 marks. And finally, the last model of setting oral skills is this area, the short form of oral literature. Things like riddle, tongue twister, proverb, which will give your candidates up to 4 marks. So colleagues, I want to assume that you have the weakest and the weakest. Tell them that if you can master these 5 areas, then you have 30 over 30. Now, you can agree with me as my colleagues that there is a way in which neck, out of 5, they always pick 3 or 4. Out of these 5, neck like picking 3 or 4. That is why last year it was etiquette, pronunciation, mastery of concept. 2022, etiquette, pronunciation, oral poem, mastery of concept. 2021, etiquette, pronunciation, oral poem, mastery of concept. 2020, short form. You remember the year they said reading. Short form, mastery, pronunciation, etiquette. So my colleagues, it means then we have a formula. You only need to tell your student certain things about these 5 concepts. Then let pick. I want us to take very few minutes and talk about each of them very, very fast. Beginning with etiquette.